presidency on Tuesday said the federal government was not the cause of most of the problems associated with the education sector in Nigeria, adding that it was the responsibility of state governments. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, made the clarification in Abuja on Tuesday while declaring open a two-day national dialogue on girls with the theme National Dialogue on Girls Towards a Girl-Friendly Nigeria. The program was jointly organized by the African Child Policy Forum, Women Arise for Change Initiative and the Africa-wide Movement for Children. Osinbajo identifies social and cultural prejudices as some of the critical problems militating against the girl child in Nigeria, stressing that despite efforts by the federal government to curtail the menace, states and local governments also had roles to play. He said, "We run a federal system and questions of education, medical care are essential state matters. Primary education is the state and local government matter. The federal government has only about 100 schools of the hundreds of thousands of schools. Sometimes when we talk about out-of-school children and problems associated with education, we tend to focus on the federal government, whereas the federal government does not run primary school. That is not the business of federal government. It is the business of state and local governments." Osinbajo advised victims of child abuse not to take it as the end of life, adding that examples abound of such victims that have shrugged it off to make it in life. He also states yet to domesticate the Child Rights Act and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act to do so. At the event, President WACI Dr. Joe Oke Odumake said Nigeria has highest prevalence of child marriage in Nigeria. The Executive Director, African Child Policy Forum, Joanne Unyanyuki, said it was important to recognize that despite concerted efforts, the challenges are fast outpacing efforts, hence the need to redouble efforts. Earlier, Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Dame Pauline Talen, described the dialogue as a clarion call on government as well as well-meaning individuals to support the girl child. So all the billions of naira that they spent on feeding, they spend billions of naira on feeding on students, and I'm not really happy with when the vice president comes out and begins to tell us, oh, they have fed some people. Instead of you to spend money on the education of the people, you are talking about food. As if you are the ones who have been feeding them all this while. Do your part. If you have done all the necessary things that you're supposed to do, the environment, the learning, the standard of education, the welfare of the teachers, if all of those things are well taken care of, then you cannot, this feeding should be the last thing. So now at the end of the day, out of these children that are out of school now, it's not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is just for you to make sure that they eat, you provide food for them. Is that what you are talking about? At the end of the day, what they spent and the food the children got, can you equate them together? Is it commensurate? No, you can't equate them together, because a lot of corruption has been going on, just like Rotibi Amechi, one of their ministers, that the corruption that is going on in this regime, it can't be said. The same corruption that drove the PDP and brought them in, they still continue. And to make matter worse, things are even far worse than it used to be. They are not telling us it is not their fault. It is not their fault. You will ask the state governments and the local government too, they will tell you it is not their fault. So all the programs to be able to make sure that we don't have children out of school, to reduce the numbers of those children out of school, with the money you spent, according to what you guys spent, billions of naira, it couldn't help. Now you didn't get the desired result. You are not saying it is not your fault. So whose fault? The state government and the local government. Are you guys not the same? The people you are blaming, are they not in this country? Are you not working hand in hand? Are you not all democratically elected? And you are telling us cock and bull stories here and there. It is not your fault again. You know, most times when I see these people, they just gather together. They will just form one program. They will just form one program. Believe you me, all that they have said, in as much as even uh, 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 taking the responsibility from the federal government is not even going to be anything, because if Adebi he has promised that, oh, they are going to do this, they are going to do that, it's not going to amount to anything. Not to talk of now that he's rejecting or is not is making, you know, telling Nigerians not to blame them, that they are not going to take the responsibility of children out of school. That is to tell you that that is the end of it. Even if they had promised or they say, oh, these are the things we are going to do, don't believe them, because they will always form program together, form one event and begin to talk. It will end there. They won't move an inch. They won't do anything. So now that he has even said it is not their responsibility, so what are you going to expect? Nothing. Blaming, 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 blaming. So what is your responsibility? The areas that you have failed. When we don't want to take responsibility for failing in our responsibilities, we suddenly know that we run a federal system. Exactly. Now it's beginning to say federal this thing. They talk about federal this, federal that. The constitution places education on the concurrent legislative list. What is he saying? The other day he said leaders need to make sacrifice while is in power with no significant sacrifice. Federal government are not responsible for them if they are out of school, but when they are in school, it's federal government duty to squander our money on feeding them. And I tire. I tire. They will spend money, spend money, spend money, and yet it's yielded no results, positive results. What are really responsible for insurgency? What are you really responsible for? Insurgency, banditry, and bad economy, esme menace, insecurity, injustice, nepotism, corruption. At least you are responsible for that. Like somebody said, when it comes to failure in some things, they begin to remember federal this, federal that. He couldn't have said that. Who is to take responsibility for the leadership failure in Nigeria today? Osinbajo should have better be silent. How about disengaged end power and beneficiaries? Whose fault? Who is going to take the blame? Who is going to be responsible for that? But you pass through Awolowo's free education. This man has lost his sense and truth because of politics. Didn't I say it before that the professor is confused? Even more confused now than ever before. Behold, this is the man you want to present as your next president, shifting federal responsibilities to state. Shame on you, Professor. Study your constitution properly. I guess you all have bad lawyers as advisors. Yet you lavish trillions of naira feeding spirit school children. Yet they are still responsibilities. They are still state responsibilities. I guess this man is smoking ukwane weed. Ukwane weed ke.